The People's Democratic Party has won 30 chairmanship positions in local government council election in Akwa Ibom State. Mozambique's opposition Renamo Party promises shifts in governance, and Vinicius Jr. to miss Brazil's World Cup qualifiers after neck injury. Details in a moment.
Charles, Charles, please, when you see that joining us, keep it until you have the person on Zoom.
What's the name of the person? Is it there?
He's not here yet.
Is it on this telephone track?
No, no.
How can't you have Israeli ambassador's name to Nigeria? Google it. Google it.
The guy that wrote it.
The guy that wrote it.
Yes.
It should be there now.
He's the one that wrote it. So you can just keep it till when it's back. So when the person connects.
As the world marks 1 year anniversary of October 7 attack on Israel, Israel has placed its forces on alert. The alert came with Israel engaged in an intensifying war with the Lebanese Hezbollah group, which Army Lieutenant General Hazi Halevi said would be hit without concession or respite. Ahead of Monday's anniversary, military spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said at a televised briefing that Israel was prepared with increased forces in anticipation for the day when there could be attacks on the home front. The unprecedented October 7 attack on Israel by Palestinian group resulted in the deaths of 1,205 people, mostly civilians, according to an AFP tally based on Israeli official figures that included hostages killed in captivity. In the last 1 year, Israel, in retaliation, has killed more than 40,000 Palestinians and destroyed a lot of infrastructure in Gaza and the West Bank. Meanwhile, family members of Israeli hostages held in Gaza disrupted Tel Aviv traffic on Sunday morning, demanding the government secure the release of their loved ones on the eve of the first anniversary of Hamas' October 7th attack. Dozens of protesters chanted and held aloft placards featuring photographs of the hostages, with others depicting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his ministers captions the cabinet of death. The families of many hostages have often accused Netanyahu of sacrificing their loved ones by insisting on the continuation of military operations in Gaza, and are now voicing similar concern over Israel's military escalation with Lebanon-based Hezbollah. Netanyahu has insisted that maintaining pressure on Hamas is the best way to return to 101 hostages still remaining in Gaza. More than 100 hostages were released in return for Palestinian prisoners in November, and 8 have been rescued by Israeli forces. Meanwhile, hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Barcelona in Spain, demonstrating in support of Palestinians in Lebanon on Sunday ahead of the anniversary of the October 7 attack by Hamas in Israel and launched its war in Gaza. Protesters waved Palestinian and Lebanese flags and chanted slogans supporting Palestinians and Lebanon, and criticizing Israel for the civilian death toll in its campaigns against Hamas in Gaza and the Iran-backed Hezbollah group in Lebanon. The war was triggered after an attack by Palestinian militant group Hamas on southern Israel, in which some 1,200 people were killed and more than 250 taken hostage, according to Israeli figures. Palestinian authorities say Israel's subsequent assault on Gaza has killed over 42,000 people. According to the Lebanese Health Ministry in Lebanon, more than 2,000 people have been killed in nearly a year of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, most of them in the past 2 weeks. The ministry said on Sunday 23 people had been killed on Saturday, and at least 24 people were killed and 93 others wounded when Israeli airstrikes hit a mosque and a school sheltering displaced people in the Gaza Strip early on Sunday. Palestinian health officials said at least another 20 people had been killed since Saturday night in northern Gaza after the army sent tanks into into areas were there for the first time in the months, while urging residents to go to what is called safe zones in the south. Palestinian and UN officials say no place in the enclave is safe, including the humanitarian zones where Israeli missiles have hit several times. The Israeli military rather, said it had conducted precise strikes on Hamas terrorists who were operating within command and control centers embedded in the Ibn Rushd school and the Shuhada al-Aqsa mosque in the area of Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Hamas rejects Israeli accusations it uses civilian facilities such as schools, hospitals, and mosques for military purposes. The strikes on the mosque and the school came as the war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas in the enclave approaches its first anniversary, and as Israel has been expanding its actions in Lebanon. We will be joined by the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria pretty soon as we are able to get across to him. And down to Nigeria, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIAC, has issued certificates of return to newly elected local government chairmen and councillors in the state. The event, which is coming a day after the official declaration of results by the commission, followed the conclusion of the election despite initial controversies and threats. The chairman of RISEC, retired Justice Adolfo Zenebeli, who had earlier announced that the Action People's Party, APP, won 22 out of the 23 chairmanship positions, declared Uzodimma Nwafo of the Action Alliance as winner of the Eche local governments, the only council area whose results was outstanding. Justice Zenebeli also announced the results of the 319 wards, with the APP maintaining the dominance with 314 seats, while the APC, LP, SDP, YPP, and Boots Party clinched 1 seat each in Okrika, Asari Toru, Eleme, Dejema, and Ahoda West local government areas. Speaking after the announcements, the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Adolfo Zenebeli, commended the peaceful conduct of the electorate during the elections. He said the peaceful exercise in the absence of police protection demonstrated that ballot papers in the hands of the electorate is stronger than arms and ammunition. An interesting feature of the election was the emergence of some opposition parties and candidates as winners in the election, as against what happens in most other states where only the ruling party clinches all the positions. The newly elected chairmen, who were later sworn in by Governor Similaye Fubara, are expected to be in office for 3 years along with the councillors. Still on Rivers election, the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, has congratulated the people of Rivers State on the successful conduct of the local government elections in the state. The National Secretary of the coalition, Peter Ame, in a statement, described the election as a triumph for democracy, citing the peaceful participation of the people as a testament to their unwavering commitments to democratic values. Ame noted that the people of Rivers State have sent a powerful message on the need for accountability, transparency, and effective governance, and the collective resolve of the people of the country for a better national election. The CUPP National Secretary also highlighted the significance of the election, which, according to him, has inspired hope for a brighter future and demonstrated the power of collective action. He added that the successful election had dealt a significant blow to external anti-democratic forces seeking to undermine the country's democracy. Similarly, former Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima, retired, has commended the Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara for the seamless conduct of the local government elections held on Saturday, October 5th, 2024. In a congratulatory message to the governor, a copy of which was made available to newsmen in New York on Sunday, Minima particularly lauded the governor's resolve in ensuring that the elections took place and described the outcome as a significant milestone for the state, while urging the governor to remain resolute in driving the development of the state. He also urged politicians to prioritize the welfare of the people and put the needs of their constituents above other considerations. He also commended the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, INEC or RISEC, and the people for their part in the success of the elections. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, has expressed deep concern over the increasing issuance of frivolous court orders and ex parte injunctions by judges, particularly in politically sensitive cases, citing the case of Rivers State as an example. In a statement on Sunday, HURIWA's National Coordinator Emmanuel Owubiko urged the National Judicial Council (NJC) to immediately sanction judicial officers involved in the actions, warning that such practices could jeopardize Nigeria's constitutional democracy. It urged the NJC, the body responsible for regulating the conduct of judges, to take swift and decisive action to address the growing corruption within the judiciary, insisting that judicial officers or lawyers found complicit in issuing or facilitating dubious court orders must face serious consequences. HURIWA also urged the NJC to establish mechanisms to monitor the issuance of ex parte and restraining orders in politically charged cases. In recent weeks, Rivers State has that appear to destabilize the duly elected administration in the state. HURIWA highlighted that many of these orders were tainted by allegations of bribery, which, according to the group, further eroded public trust in the judiciary. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has won 30 chairmanship positions in Saturday's local government council election in Akwa Ibom. The chairman of Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission, Aniedi Ekoiwak, announced this in the signed results released in Uyo on Sunday. Ekoiwak also announced that the All Progressives Congress APC candidate Mr. Usoro Effiong won as the chairman of the Essien Udim Local Government Council. Newsman reports that the election was conducted in the 31 local government areas and 369 wards in the state. Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State has refuted reports suggesting that his first daughter, Mrs. Helen Obariki, was appointed as the First Lady of the state. He clarified that his daughter was appointed as the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady, a point he made clear to Senator Oluremi Tinubu during her condolence visit. Speaking at the All Nations Christians Ministry International ECET on Sunday, the governor explained that his decision was a natural outcome, not one motivated by political considerations. He maintained that First Ladies are not appointed. However, following the passing of his wife, it was appropriate and comforting for his daughter, who had been her mother's closest assistant, to oversee and implement the programs of the office. He noted that the priority attention would be given to his late wife's pet project, Golden Initiative for All, GIFA, as well as other support programs for women, the elderly, the vulnerable, and the less privileged. He added that these activities could only be sustained with Mrs. Obariki as coordinator due to her experience, exposure, education, and access. He promised that as long as he remains governor, those programs will not die, and the coordinator must be someone I see on a daily basis, someone who can talk into my room and brief me, not a distant person. Governor Eno further explained that by the appointment, his daughter would be addressed as the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor and Coordinator, Office of the First Lady, stating that this decision was one way to bring healing to the family and comfort to himself. Last Saturday, during the condolence visit of the wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Governor Eno had announced that his first daughter, Helen Eno Obariki, will coordinate the Office of the First Lady following the death of his wife. The developments had generated a lot of controversy in the media and in the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says over 2 million registered voters will participate in the November 16th governorship elections in Ondo State. Resident Electoral Commissioner in the state, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, made the disclosure in Akure while addressing newsmen on the level of the Commission's preparedness for the governorship elections. Babalola said that the Commission would soon commence the distribution of permanent voters' cards, PVCs, urging registered voters in the previous registration exercise who are yet to collect their cards to do so. She said that the Commission would simplify the collection process and establish PVC collection centers in all registration areas and in local government areas for ease of access. The REC said that a large percentage of the non-sensitive election materials required for the election had been received and deployed to the 18 local government offices, and that the Commission is working with the relevant security agencies and stakeholders to ensure safe storage and timely distribution of the materials on eve of the elections. Meanwhile, Senate's minority leader Abba Moro of PDP Benue South Senatorial District has described the local government elections held on Saturday in Benue as a rape of democracy. Moro made the description in a statement through his media advisor Emmanuel John on Sunday in Makurdi. The All Progressives Congress won all the 23 chairmanship and 276 councillorship seats as declared by the Benue State Independent Electoral Commission (BCEC) on Sunday. The Senate's minority leader said that the reports from polling units across the senatorial district indicated that the election did not hold. He said that the election materials and officials of BCEC were not seen anywhere in the area. Moro said that he was disappointed in Governor Hyacinth Alia for not standing by the truth and due process as promised during his electioneering campaign. He enjoined members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to remain calm as everything legally possible would be done to challenge the election in a court of competent jurisdiction. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has called on President Bola Tinubu to withhold allocations to states that have failed to conduct credible local government elections. In a statement by Deputy Director Kolawole Olowadare on Sunday, SERAP told Tinubu to direct the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy to immediately withhold federal allocations to states that have failed or refused to conduct credible local government elections. The organization also asked the President to ensure that any allocations from the Federation accounts is paid only to councils that are democratically elected by the constituted authorities. SERAP also wants the President to publish details of number of local government councils that have directly received federal allocations and whether the councils are democratically elected as provided for by the Nigerian Constitution as 1999 as amended and ordered by the Supreme Court in its judgments of 11 July 2024. Several states, including Rivers, Benue, Akwa Ibom, and the Jigawa states, held their local government elections on October 5th, with many states yet to conduct theirs, while others have already done so. Still to come, Kwara government urges residents to stay calm amidst floods. Cholera outbreak in Nigeria sees alarming 220% spike in suspected cases. Details in a moment.
No, they look away. Look away. Look straight. They'll call you.
Oga just called, abeg.
That what?
And you're looking away. Now what happened?
What do you mean by I'm looking
You
away?
go read the news, you go turn your face. I even see the thing too. They do like that.
Wait, we can work on our way. I beg, I fit change this to talk or call back.
Don't talk.
Oga said you should sit properly. Okay.
No, please, the camera. Media,
Which side they give me now?
Okay.
This one, take me,
Properly
take me,
Which side?
in
They give me
the
the other one
middle
now.
and face the camera. Okay, his shirt.
Yeah, don't zip and don't
Okay, okay, sir. Say she zip. Yes, she zip. Okay. I think it zips now. Okay.
Be like talk my ear now.
Say
Who
she
dey
sits
talk?
properly. Ma, I think that's what we were talking about.
Who does not back the call? Yeah.
Still on the ear now.
You dey hear from that one?
I know I do.
From that thing. You have no
This is
before.
our last class.
Tell me talk to you, abeg.
Then they go and leave there, they whisper. Whisper, you don't talk like human being.
Let's close that door, they won't start.
Come out there.
Check that zip. Oga said the zip.
You not close my door for me now.
Sitting.
that way they do now to find your balance, eh? Senior man. Na balance you can define, abi? But the balance now, they be like say you get one shoulder go down.
No be so dem dey talk. No be say dem no be dey talk so now. I no stay straight.
Just stay straight now, make it make sense. You look sweet now. Come on there, see fine boy. Like that. Too fine. Too beautiful. Beautifully pretty. Hey there.
You go capture this phone. She not from here. The contact.
The phone do there.
And there's a question. I need the question why I go ask person. And then here it.
Wait, man, come on the phone.
Come on the phone and beg. This ambassador is he still coming on?
Why she got chest more for me?
There's an ambassador coming on. The Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman. Is this still coming on?
Then you get one way they do where I will tell you. That way they look that phone, they show say your eye they come out from camera.
No, what's in the talk?
Just pay attention to me. You know I love you. Men don't love men, but me I love you. Pay attention to me.
Okay.
Please close that door. If you don't have anything to do yet, please go and close that door.
I'm not going to fit to use this thing.
Charles.
Plain water. Yes. Yeah.
You see yourself.
Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. And joining us to talk about it, just like what we said earlier in our news bulletin, that we would have the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Michael Freeman. He would discuss a little more about the attack. Today is October 7th, and it's 1 year since that attack happened. We would have him on Zoom live right now. Good morning, sir. Mr. Freeman, can you hear me? All right, it's been 1 year since this attack by Hamas, and I'm just wondering really, how has this in one way or another shaping Israel's foreign policy and its security? All right. I'm just wondering, since that attack, what has Israel done to forestall any further attacks on Israel's soil?
Go as long as you can.
Instead of giving it. Okay, so I'm just also wondering what has been the international solidarity been like, especially from the African continent. Um, to what extent have you received this sort of solidarity, and what role do you think that this partnership from around the world, play in the way and manner you relate with countries? And we asked Israel, pleaded for months and months and months, please stop the rocket fire. We have no dispute with Hezbollah, we have no dispute with Lebanon. There is no dispute between Israel and Lebanon over land or over territory. But Hezbollah, this terror organization sponsored by Iran, carried on firing rockets, carried on attacking us until we said enough when we decided to fight back to stop Hezbollah. And to make Hezbollah implement United Nations resolution. I can only imagine the excruciating pain that families are going through, after 1 year not seeing their loved ones. I understand there was even a protest in Tel Aviv yesterday with families asking that Israel authorities release the hostages. And I'm just wondering how is government, reacting to that protest that happened. In fact, some of them accused the current government, stating clearly that the hostages are being sacrificed. I don't know what your reaction is to that. So, so is it possible that the Israeli government is not communicating properly to those who still have family and loved ones in captivity? Because, I mean, if they have this information, they shouldn't have been going out to the street blaming the government for not accepting the ceasefire and allowing the war to go on. Right, in fighting and going against terrorism, Hamas and Hezbollah now, a lot of people have actually accused the Israeli authorities of killing, civilians, harmless civilians in the cause of this war. In fact, in some cases, they blame you for genocide. How do you react to that particular blame? Right. France believes that Israel is committing genocide, and that's the reason why recently France's President Emmanuel Macron came out clearly to state that there should be an arms embargo on your country. How do you react to that? Okay, where do we go from here? I mean, Israel is fighting on different fronts. Hamas, Hezbollah, the authorities, especially as it concerns the heads across board when it comes to Hezbollah. I'm wondering what stops this fight. For instance, if there's some sort of communication across board, what exactly would happen now? And Israel says, well, you know what? Let's stop this particular fight. All right, on a final note, just before we let you go, Iran, for the first time in a long while, had a direct attack, throwing in 180 missiles into Israel. How are you looking to respond to that? All right. Thank you so much, Freeman, for your time this morning. We truly appreciate you. All right, we're headed for a very short break. When we return, we'll continue with the news. Just stay with us. Gonna give me water, beg. Gonna give me water.
Sit.
It is up with this thing, very open.
You're welcome. After news, check out. Take this. Take the machine. No close door. This guy Nyash, you need to give answer.
We attack, we respond.
Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. The Kwara State government wants residents to stay calm regarding the pattern of rainfall which has led to massive flooding in some parts of the state on Sunday. The press secretary in the state's Ministry of Environment, Kamadun Aliagan, quoted the commissioner in the ministry, Hajia Hafizat Musa Buje, as giving the assurance in a statement in Ilorin. According to the commissioner, the rainfall is a temporary situation that will soon change, she said, describing the situation as a global phenomenon that could be attributed to the effects of climate change on environment. She, however, stated that the state government had continuously taken proactive measures to ensure public safety and curb the anomaly, parts of which was the dredging of Asa River. The Kogi state government has opened up a 5 kilometers alternate route in Nyamanyama village in Ganaja Ajokuta roads to serve as a bypass in case the main Ganaja road become impassable due to flooding. The newsman reports that Governor Ahmed Ododo recently directed the state's flood disaster response team to immediately open up an alternate route to the main Ganaja roads to ensure that motorists do not suffer from hardship of possible blockage of the main road by the increasing level of flood waters in the area. The state's deputy governor, Dr. Joel Salifu, chairman of the flood disaster response team, said that the team had responded swiftly to the governor's directive to open up an alternate road in the area. Also, Mohammed Yusuf, the commissioner for works and member of the team, expressed satisfaction with the progress of work on the road. Governor Biodun Oyebanji of the Ekiti State has warned developers against building on waterway, saying this has been the most identifiable snag sabotaging government strides to tame flooding. Oyebanji gave the warning on Sunday in Ado-Ekiti while inspecting some sections of the capital city and suburbs ravaged by flood. The governor sympathized with victims who are predominantly students and reminded the residents that indiscriminate blocking of drains and building of structures on waterways was sabotaging government's efforts against flooding. Oyebanji said that as part of the preparedness of the government ahead of rainy season, it has been proactive enough by carrying out the dredging and channelization of flood-prone sections of Ado-Ekiti and suburbs. He therefore stated that officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the Ekiti State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, would visit all the affected areas for proper enumeration and documentation to guide the government on the best ways to bring respite to the victims. Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, says the cholera outbreak in Nigeria has seen a sharp increase in 2024, with suspected cases rising by an alarming 220%. The NCDC on its official website said that this was according to the latest epidemiological report. According to the newsman, cholera is an acute intestinal infection spread through contaminated food and water, as well as communities with limited access to sanitation. Conflicts, climate change, inadequate safe water and sanitation, poverty, underdevelopment, and population displacements due to emerging and re-emerging conflicts and disasters from natural hazards all contributes to the rise in cholera outbreaks. The Nigerian Public Health Agency said that by the end of the epidemiological week 39, the country had recorded 10,837 suspected cases and 359 deaths. It said that the figure represented 239% increase in fatalities compared to 2023. Meanwhile, the federal government has announced that no Nigerian life has been lost in Lebanon amidst the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. A statement issued by a spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Eche Abube, said the Nigerian embassy in Lebanon has been actively working to ensure the safety of Nigerians. Abu Ober said that the Nigerian government has begun preparations to evacuate its citizens from Lebanon, and the embassy had previously advised citizens in Lebanon to voluntarily evacuate with commercial flights still operational. Those in southern Lebanon, where the fighting has been most intense, it said, were relocated to safer areas such as Beirut with the help of community leaders. The statement reassured Nigerians that it is in contact with relevant stakeholders and is committed to ensuring the safe return of all citizens. This comes as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah escalates, with Israeli airstrikes targeting Hezbollah strongholds across Lebanon and ground troops conducting operations near the border. The Nigerian Customs Service has acquired a Cessna Grand Caravan EX-208B aircraft as part of its efforts to enhance its air patrol and surveillance operations. The Comptroller General (CG) of NCS, Adewale Adeniyi, made this known in a statement issued by the service spokesperson Abdullahi Maiwada in Abuja. Adeniyi described the move as a game changer to the service in its efforts to effectively perform its constitutional duties of combating smuggling. He added that the aircraft, registered as 5NBAA, has a modern Garmin G1000 avionics cockpit system, which would enable its operations at day, night, and also during low visibility conditions. Adeniyi further stated that the aircraft would play a crucial role in the air patrols aimed at detecting smuggling routes, deploying armed personnel, and providing swift support for ground operations. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has intercepted 13,298,000 pills of opioids and 253 bottles of codeine-based cough syrup worth over 9 billion naira in street value. The NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi said in a statement in Abuja that the drugs were intercepted by NDLEA operatives at the Port Harcourt port on Air Rivers. According to Babafemi, the seized opioids included Tramadol, Tramakin, Quick Action Tramadol, Tamol X, Royal Tapetadol, and Carisoprodol, among others. He added that the opioids were recovered in 3 containers coming from India, targeted by the NDLEA during a 100% joint examination of the cargoes. And that's the news this hour. Many thanks for watching. Charles Pius is my name. Join me in another 5 minutes for a fine time with you on the morning show. Take care. See you later. Nice news. So for those who missed out on the interview I had with the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, I'll be posting the video on our platform, so check it out on Signature Television. You can also check it on my platform, still on YouTube, of course. You can also see it on our social media platforms, Signature TVs, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can also do that at Cheesy Charles on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. All right. We look forward to basically doing a lot. We're going to be talking about Rivers State's elections that has just passed. We'll have 2 guests that will be talking to us at 2 different times within the hour. Of course, there'll be, of course, our newspaper headlines and reviews just before that. I mean, we just have to have the reactions of people as relates to the elections. This is the very first time this type of thing is happening in our political history, at least in the last 25 years, since the dispensation. So I'm wondering what this means for the Rivers people, for politics in general, and even for Wike and for Bara as it stands. So we'll talk about that a little more on this show. All right. So join us live on Signature TV. We would love to have it. All right. Take care.